Hi, Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. I watched it, finally, the third of the Mummy trilogy, The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I remember back in the early 21st century, I was excited about this because I was already a Bruce Lee fan, or a Jet Li fan, and a Michelle Yeoh fan, and they were going to go Asian with the next Mummy movie and have Russell Wong in here and a few. I was like, yeah. And then we know how it turned out. $145 million budget, went on to gross $406 million, considered the least successful of the three. I gotta say, watching it now, I like it better than the second one, but there's a lot of things about this one I don't like, and we'll talk about it. So as I told you before in the other two reviews, I picked up the trilogy for about $17.49 during Amazon Prime days, and I've taken my time watching the three of them because I had not revisited the original three Mummy movies, and I've been watching all these other Mummy movies lately. So anyway, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor has a really great intro, like all the movies do, and the first thing I noticed, the special effects are better than this than both of the first two combined. This came out in 2008. Obviously, we're better at it, but they obviously spent more time. Rob Cohen directed this. He directed Dragonheart, Dragon the Bruce Lee Story, and a few other movies. Alfred Goh and Miles Millar wrote it. They're guys who did Smallville and things like that. Brendan Fraser came back. Jet Li stars in it. We'll talk about Maria Bello. John Hannah's back. Russell Wong is in it. Liam Cunningham is in it. Luke Ford, we'll talk about him. And Michelle Yeoh. And the Asian parts I really liked, and some of our current cast of characters I liked, but the movie has a fatal flaw. Well, two. One, replacing a main character with there was just, we'll get into it. Second, the forcing the immature comedy. There is some just terrible, terrible jokes that fall incredibly flat and that are groan worthy, that just take you out of the experience because it's like, did they have to go there? Did they have to say that? Everything else up to that was so good, and then they end on, oh, really? And there's a lot of that in this movie. And the other thing is replacing Rachel Weisz. If you're going to replace a main character in a movie series, then have a new character play somebody else. Don't have somebody else play somebody that we're familiar with 2 films in. Now, she does a really great job of kind of emulating that character that Rachel Weisz played. I think her voice sounds very similar, but Maria Bello, great actress that she is not Rachel Weisz. I mean, they're just not. They're not the same anything. And watching these in close proximity, I guess if there were years between, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. But watching them close together, it's jarring to have her be the love interest. It's just like, here's a new person in this movie. I don't get it. I'm sure there's some behind the scenes somewhere documentary that talks about Rachel wasn't available or whatever. But again, you're talking about the 2 main characters of the previous 2 movies now have a child, and the mother, child, and husband thing is going to be important. We can't wait on filming to get the actress who played her in the previous 2 movies. We just have to replace her. Maybe she wanted too much money. I get that, but again, we have learned from movies like this and others, from the Star Wars movies or whatever, give the people what they want. Stop jerking it and trying to convince them this is fine. Because that just doesn't work. And again, I don't have a problem with Maria Bello. She's been great in some movies. I watched her recently in that David Cronenberg movie. She was fabulous in that. And she's really good in this. Taking nothing. She's just not the same actress. Then we come to Luke Ford, who's playing the son. He's now an adult, and he's the reason why they get involved in Asia. I like that they took it somewhere, that they left Egypt, that they left kind of some of that trapping and tried to do something new, but they didn't go deep enough with it into the mythology, and they should have. We don't know why, like the ancient emperor, why he did some of the things he did, and he learned some magic, and then this happened. And I don't know, they just could have gone deeper into the mythology and what it all really meant. He basically just became a CGI bad guy. And again, the effects are much better in this film, but like the previous 2 films, had we done more practical stuff with the actual mummy, There's some great scenes where he breaks the clay that's on him and you see the mummy face with underneath, and eventually it builds. It looks like it hurts when it does it, so it burns, but it rebuilds the clay, and he's that character that they see, that you've seen, in archaeological finds. They find all of those people, and there is a good switch. There's some plot twists, and there's some other things about this film. And like I said, overall, it's a better looking movie. It's the best looking 4K of the three. It's got better special effects, but we have, and I didn't talk about Luke Ford. I was going to. Luke Ford plays the son, and he does okay. I think he's fine, but they put too much of an emphasis on it, and he's got a relationship with a woman who turns out to be immortal, and it's a bit like squeezing Shia LaBeouf into an Indiana Jones movie. He was the catalyst to get all this going. He's kind of the MacGuffin of the film, and he plays it okay. I've seen him in a couple other things. He's a Canadian actor. He's continued to be in things. He was in that Osiris Child movie that I saw a few years ago and reviewed. It wasn't very good, but he was pretty good in it. His character was more irritating than interesting. But again, they wanted a younger couple, wanted a younger love. And you get it now, years after, we're 18 years removed from this film. You look back on it, what the studio was trying to do, what the story was trying to do with the characters. I think there is a good movie under here. They just made some choices that I wouldn't have made if I were making the third in a trilogy. That's the biggest problem here, is that it doesn't really match up with the first two, as far as we're missing a character and, I don't know, just the feel of it. But it is an exciting action movie, and like I said, the 4K looks incredible. There were some scenes with the special effects being better and some of the vistas and the wide open shots. The cinematography is by Simon Dugan? Not sure if I'm pronouncing his Australian or New Zealander name right, but anyway, he was the cinematographer on movies like Warcraft, say what you will, iRobot, and Furiosa, to name a few. The guy's a good cinematographer, and it comes through in this film. The 4K looks great. The DTS X soundtrack is pretty amazing and the best of the three. Well, it's a more modern soundtrack, and there's a lot of directionality. There's magic, there's voices, there's sound effects overhead, a lot of arrows in this movie that are overhead. The difference between watching this and Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair has a 5.1 DTS HD mix that sounds great. And it almost gave you the feel of a DTS X or an Atmos mix, something that was more object-based, like these modern technologies are. But I got to tell you, it's a whole different ball game when you watch something that's made for those technologies. And this movie, all around the living room, it gets really high marks for video and audio, the best out of the three. Unfortunately, not my favorite of the three movies. If I could do some editing on this, I'd do a little edit and it would be better than the second movie. But there's things I like about the second movie. I hate the effects. There's things I hate about the third movie, but I love the effects. So I will take the Mummy trilogy as it is, and we have a fourth one coming. I hope we go back to the vibe of the first two movies. Don't make these cease to exist, but just go back to that feel. That's really all I require on one of these upcoming nostalgic sequel remakes, whatever. Hopefully it's good, but anyway, the Mummy trilogy is not a bad pickup on 4K. It's definitely better than the Blu-rays. You get all the extras with the Blu-rays that are included. The pictures are great. The sound is great. It's the best the movies have looked and sounded. So if these are three of your favorite movies, pick up the trilogy. If you only like one or two of them, those are available separately, you're just going to pay a little bit more. And wait for Black Friday or the next big Amazon Prime. I think the set goes for $30 to $40 normally. That's not bad to pay for the 6-disc and the digital copies. By the way, my digital copies did work. They were not expired. Long story short, it's a great set, and if you're a fan of the Mummy movies, pick it up. Scott and ROCKFILE, more podcasts on the way. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.